How do parties pick their candidates for the presidential election? Okay, we used to use national party conventions, which were quite elitist. You had bigwigs from each state coming together and deciding in smoky back rooms who they wanted to represent their party on the presidential ticket in November. We have scrapped that since the 1970s in favor of the primary system, which is built upon the ruins of the National Party Convention system. Now, the people in each of the 50 states get to decide who they want to represent their party in the presidential election in November. So let's say you're a Democrat voting in Utah. You're going to say, hey, I want Joe Biden to be the presidential nominee for Democrats. Okay, you and all your neighbors vote. Now, what you're actually doing is you're voting indirectly or directly for a delegate who is pledged to Joe Biden. Now, each of the states have their own rules on how you select delegates and how primaries are run, because this is America and we like to do things in the most confusing way possible. So these delegates could be your neighbor Fred, they could be a local party leader, they could be just an early supporter of Joe Biden in the state of Utah, whatever. They're all regular schmoes and they show up to the National Party Convention and they all cast their votes representing you. They're pledged votes. Now that doesn't mean that by law, unless you're in one of the 14 states that requires this, that they're required to vote for a certain person, but they're in good conscience required to represent you. If no one wins a majority, then superdelegates are brought in. And these are like the elites. These are the governors and the former presidents and the Democratic members of Congress, and they all vote. And then once a majority is reached, that person is the presidential candidate.